how does the age fit into the company?
The age is a long story because I've started very early age of being a poet and a writer, a surreal poet. And so I adopted that name, and it's actually coming from a Greek mythology sort of entity. And I found out later on, I didn't know first, I just thought about that name and I thought it was cool, and then somebody brought to me my attention that this Greek entity actually stands for the imagination, sending imagination to humans. So it's kind of the spark of creation. I thought that's really awesome. And it's just spelled like Irene, but it's had E-N-S, it's got an H.
But your company says Irene Space Enterprises, but it's spelled with an H.
Yes.
And why
Yes.
There's a story there.
There's a story there. The first name is Irene. It came to me at a very early age. I was 13. I started writing poetry and writing also short stories. And so I came up with this nom de plume. And then I realized later on, it was brought to my attention when I published in some poetry magazines that this name actually existed already as a mythological entity in Greek mythology, and it stands for the imagination, sort of like the entity that is breathing imagination into humans, and the spark of creation. So I thought I loved it. And so I kept it, and is the name of the company, Irene Space Enterprises, and the acronym is IC. So that's much easier.
How did you go from a poetry writing teenager to the position that you're in now? Tell us a bit about your journey.
My journey is is actually I think I was born like this. I was already born weird. But as a little girl, I remember being in kindergarten, and I was talking a lot and thinking a lot, and I remember I was not really interested in the doll playing. I remember circles of little girls playing with the dolls, and I was like, no, I want to go to the moon. How do I go there? Not me, but I want to send this little person there, and how can it be safe? How can I bring the person back? And I remember asking these questions to my parents. Nobody had an answer. Yeah, shut up. You go to your room, play. Here's another doll. No, I don't want the doll. No, it's kind of like this. I was always a thinker, and I remember also coming to the childhood thing. I think the person is born like that. There's a lot of nurturing, but in my case, I was born in an environment that nobody in my family is a scientist. So I was truly like this. I was fortunate to have parents that were talking to me a lot, but it's not like I come from scientists or something like that. I'm the only one. And another anecdote is I remember one time my father showed me a video. He used to have a lot of fun recording me. I was very little and walking around the house. I was very busy, very busy. And one time he asked me with a video camera, "What are you so busy about? What are you doing?" I said, "I'm making a green rice." And he said, "What is that?" I said, "No, I don't know, Daddy. I'm inventing it." These kind of things in a child, So I think it's important to observe the children because they really give you a clue of more or less what they're gonna do. So I think in the thinker process, I was a poet. I was more like a writer, and I studied a lot. I love to read everything. I was reading a lot, and especially astronomy and space, and well, through school. School was a nightmare. I didn't want to go to the classes because I was thinking, why do I have to learn this? I really want to hear people tell me about the moon. But there were no space classes, unfortunately, in school. So I survived through middle school, survived through the hell of high school. And then went on straight to university, studied physics, pure physics, and that was really a passion. But I have a lot of passions. I consider myself more of a Renaissance type thinker. I don't hyper focus on one thing. I have a lot of different interests, and I really like to take the philosophy from many disciplines, whether it's art or literature or history or science or philosophy or metaphysics, I'm very much that kind of thinker that likes to see all the points of view from all the disciplines.
Where did you go to college?
I started actually in Madrid, Spain. I don't know if you know, but in Europe, at least in Spain, we have national exams. And you go through a horrifying marathon, 3 days, in which the whole country is tested, massive exams to enter university. And so the ones with the best grades get to select the university they go to. So I was second in pure physics in all Spain. And I selected physics. And physics, and there, the public schools have the best education, contrary to the U.S., right? And so they're very, they have the best minds there. And I went into the public school, and I remember people telling me, why would you do that? Physics, what a waste. You need to go into law or medicine or be a doctor or, and I said, no. What I want is to learn how to think. I want to understand the universe. I want to, and I was fascinated by these questions, Carl Sagan was one of my, I would sit and watch for hours these cosmos. This is the only thing I had. And I would turn on the TV, nobody could talk to me. This was sacred, Carl Sagan. So I'm a children of Carl Sagan. And so that was University of Autónoma, which is the public university in Spain, in Madrid, and Department of Pure Physics. But after 2 years, I realized this system is not for me. I'm very much the type of thinker that does not go with the crowd. I either step outside and start asking weird questions or go against the standards or something like that. So it was not good. So then I remember there was a professor who was American. And he had a faculty position in Spain for 6 months, then we'll go back to, I think, Missouri. And he grabbed me and said, you need to go to the United States. You're very American. So I did. And I didn't know the system, and I made a lot of mistakes, and I started again, and I wasted a lot of time. But in the end, I ended up really close to where I was living for some time in Florida. So I basically just got into the closest university, and that was University of South Florida. And then I did the physics bachelor there. And I really liked the fact that the system in the US is very free. They actually pay attention to the person and to the dreams of the person, and they guide you and they help you. Oh, you wanna, study this? Okay, you need to talk to such and such, or you need to do this, and this, and it's important what you want. So I loved it. And after that, it was all a succession of from here to there, and I wasn't even finished with college. I was already getting scholarships to go elsewhere, and it was all like that, one after the other.